In this lesson, I wanted to revisit what we learned in our previous lesson about the variables. See, the purpose of the run script block is to execute the code. Example we saw where we call an API to receive a JSON payload, process that, manipulate it, and store JSON attributes into the bot variables. However, a good practice is to first create bot variables in the variables pane so that when we assign the values to these variables, they can be referenced within any block inside our flow. Currently, when we execute our done callback function, the values are being assigned to the variables, and these variables are also available to be referenced across the flow. However, variables are not visible in the insert variables pane. So referencing these variables require frequent lookups within the blocks in which they are created, and that is very unproductive and prone to error. So I want to enhance our flow to create these variables and then reference them in the text block. So let's complete this action. Let us first copy the bot attributes that we have so that we can create them in the bot variables pane on the left hand side. Okay, so let us pick up the first bot variable, which is the customer name. Copy this and create our first variable. We will have to name the variable the same that we have same name as the name we have provided in our run script block. Again, this is going to be of type text, so we have got text, number and date. We're going to keep this as text. Initial value will initialize to 0. Obviously this is a, so because this is a text, we are just going to leave it blank. So we've created our first variable. Okay, so now we've got all of these variables created over here, and now when you click on the text block, all of these variables are now available for our consumption across the entire flow, right? So you can see that we have all these variables, and all of these variables will contain the value as soon as the values are immediately assigned in the done callback. So the values are assigned from here, and because it has the same name, the bot will ensure that the values are also assigned to these variables. So now let's say instead of we manually typing this order found, we could actually now have the ability to select the value from the variable, right? So it was order found, and now let's test this out and see whether this works or not. We can see that the value is being stored now into the bot variables. Now we can go ahead and extend our bot to be more user friendly and more appealing. So let's design the bot using these attributes to enhance the customer experience. So I'm going to go ahead and enhance this customer experience and come back, and then we can discuss about how this bot was designed. Here we are seeing that we have transformed our bot that was displaying only the very basic information to a better user experience, right? So I wanted to walk you through the process of building this transformation. So here is what essentially we have built as a part of the bot. So this is a quick outline of what we have built in our chatbot, and the very first use case is if the order is not found, then we ask the user to take a certain action. Maybe the next action could be that the user will start the flow again. So this is a condition that we have built into the bot. Then if the order is found in the JSON payload, we're going to greet the user, okay, with the name, and then we will ask for the next actions that the user would like to take. So in our use case, we had 3 different use cases. We had the ability to display the order status, the order value, and the list of all the products. So these are the 3 cases that we had already built. If the user chooses to view the order status, then we have built 2 different conditions here. One is that if the status is in transit, we are displaying an image, and then we are also displaying the status. If the order is other than in transit, then we are simply displaying the text. Then our next use case was to display the total value of the order. So if the user chooses to see the value of the order, we are displaying an image, and then we are displaying the value in terms of the text. The last use case where we are showing all the product items which are available in our JSON payload. So if the user clicks on view products, then we are displaying a image, and then we are displaying the product items in the text form. So let us go back to our bot platform and have a look at how we have accomplished this task. So here we are requesting the user to provide the user ID, and here we are leveraging the script block. Now you can see that the convention that I am following is that if the block is of type text, I start the name with the text, and then it is capturing the order ID, so I've appended the order ID. So if it is an image block, the name starts with the image, and here it states what it does. So if the order is not found, we are displaying this image. So these are the conventions that we are using to create the, and here we are using the same script block that we were using previously to execute and receive our JSON response. So let us look at the first use case where we request the user to enter the order ID. We then fetch the information from the API. Then that information is stored in the attributes that we created. Then the next step is to identify if the order is available in the payload or not. So the way we are identifying is that when we click on the connector, we have the order found attribute. So we are using the order found attribute and comparing that against the value 0. If the order found attribute contains the value as 0, then we are going to route it to this particular image that will display this particular image, and then the flow will be routed to a text block that will display a message that the order is not found. We are then requesting the user for the next actions, where we have created quick replies for this text block. So when you click on the quick replies, this is how we have set up. So we have written the reply over here, or we have decorated this particular quick reply with a emoji. So the way you can add emojis is that you can use the command and the dot. So this will open up the emoji on the Windows machine, and from here you can search and select the emojis that you want. So if the user clicks on the yes button, we are routing our flow back to the text order ID block, where the bot will again ask the user to enter the order ID. If the user clicks on the no button, then we are displaying the message and our flow will end. So let us test this and see how this works. And this time let us enter a order number which is not available in our payload, and we can see that we have received a message that what can go wrong. Oops, the order ID you provided is not available. Now if the user clicks on the no button, then the flow will route to the block where we are displaying the message, no worries, you can try later and thank you. Okay, so what if the order is found? That is our positive use case. So let us look into that. If the order is found, our condition that if the order is equal to 1, which means if the order is found, then we are routing to the text block where we are displaying the customer name, and then we are checking with the user on the next steps. So there are 3 actions that the user can take. One is to request on the order status, the second one is to look at the total order cost, and then to display all the ordered items. So if the user chooses the option order status, then there are 2 conditions that we have. So when the user selects the order status button, we are routed to a text block that displays, sure, here is the order details. Then we have 2 separate conditions that might be executed depending upon the value. So let us look at the one of the conditions that we have set for the image. So when the status is in transit, we want to display the image. Then if the status is not in transit, then we will have the order status displayed in form of the text. Now here you can see that we do not have any conditions. So if this condition is satisfied, the flow will be routed to this particular block. If the condition is not satisfied, then by default it will be routing to the block where it displays the status in the text form. Similar to this, we have another use case where we are displaying the total cost. Clicking on the total cost, we have an image that will be displayed, and then the flow will route to this text block where we are capturing the value from the final price from our variables, right, and displaying it over here. The last case where we want to display all the order items, again we are going to route it to an image block where we are displaying this image, and once the image is displayed, then the flow will route to the text block where we are displaying all the product names which are available in the all item names variable. So let us test this flow with the conditions one by one. So in order to test the flow, we will have to enter the correct order number which is available in our JSON payload. Okay, now let's click on the order status. Right, so the order status is in processing, and so we did not see this image. If the order status was in transit, we would have seen this image. So let us change this order status in our JSON payload. So we will change the status to in transit and save this. So let's run the flow again. Okay, now we can see that we are receiving an image because the status of the order is in transit. So let's close this. Let's run the bot again and test the next use case. Let us enter the correct order ID. This time we want to check the total order value. So we can see our image getting displayed and then the text block. Within the text block we are seeing the total value of the order and then the last use case. So the last use case is to display all the product items within the order. Let us enter the correct order ID and then click on all ordered items. Okay, so we can see that we are able to display all the order items. So this bot is still incomplete because there are many dead ends. So we can enhance that, but essentially the way to enhance this is to continue to ask the user for the next actions and then route the flow to the relevant blocks so as to ensure that there are no dead ends in the bot.